Good morning, everybody. I'm Divya K from Division of Plant Breeding and Genetics, Central Coffee Research Institute, Coffee Research Station, CRS. Today, I would like to discuss about the topic on tips for raising good quality coffee seedlings. What is the importance of the planting material in plantation crops? Why it is very important? Because as we all know, coffee is a perennial crop. It will, once if we planted, it will be with us for many years. If it is the case of Arabica, the economic life will be 20 to 40 years. If it is Robusta, it is up to 70 years. And also, we know the Robusta is a centenary plant. It will grow, it will be with us before 100 years. So when we select a plant material, it should be proper, authentic in all means, in the case of yield, health-wise, vigor, etc. So we should always get a authentic. We should get the seed from authentic source, and it should be genetically pure. It must be from coffee board. If it is a coffee board research department. So what happens if we want to buy the seeds from the nearby estate or private estate? What will happen? In the case of coffee, what we will do, when we will release a variety, that will be always in our seed plot will be in F3. That is third generation. If we get the seeds from that and we distribute it to the growers, that in growers field, it will be in F4 generation, F4. So again, that grower, if we distribute it from other person, that will again go to 5th generation, 6th generation, etc. So if we take always in your planter's field, that will be in always F5, 5th generation. That's why always buy the seeds from authentic coffee board research department. Otherwise, this dilution will result to susceptibility of the population, susceptible to coffee leaf rust and some other pest and diseases. Then another thing, we know every estate, we have seen that the one place is assigned for a nursery. Most of the big estate we have seen. And also even lakhs of the plants or thousands of the plants, they will grow in a year and they will use for their own plantations. But nowadays, there is a tendency of getting plants from the depending plants from private nursery. Why? Because nowadays the skilled people, nursery skilled people are not there, either retired, and also that youngsters are not interested in nursery work. So that's why people depends, and also it is very easy to get the plants whenever we want to expand. They feel like to expand, there's some new area, they will go that time to the nursery and they will pick the plants. But though we have a lot of good nursery around us, we don't know the authenticity of the plants. That's why it's better, it is a risk. It's always get. And also because of this generation, see this man, Mr. Chandra, he's one of the person, he is very expert in nursery making. But none of the other people are not much interested. The youngsters are not interested. Still, we are depending on this man only. That's why I know I have seen so many places, the same situation. So in this contest, what we want to see how we should learn how to raise a good nursery. That's why let's go. Next. Then first step, that is selection of site. As far as possible, always select a land with a gentle slope without any much shady trees, or no shade trees is the best place. And also we have one place with a gentle slope. Next step is the water, availability of the water. We want good water source, and also protect the entire play area by using fencing. So we can avoid that cattle and also these dogs that also sometimes damage the primary buds. And then also we have to ensure a good pandal with a 70% of shade. It's very important. Shade is very important for raising nursery. So all the things should be ready before starting our nursery work. Depending on the one thing, another thing, we have selected one place. If it is possible, we can change the site in alternate 3 years. So we can avoid so many soil-borne diseases. Once we have planted 3 places, the chance of the soil-borne diseases are more. So that is also a one good thing. Let us see which are all the raw materials required for this nursery. One is jungle soil, farmyard manure. The jungle soil that we can take from any of the virgin land will be there in every estate. That place we can use we can extract that jungle soil. The jungle soil, then farmyard manure that should be dried and also composted. It should be proper manure. It should not be cow dung. So will properly dry, and you can use coarse river sand. It should be little coarse only. The fine sand you can avoid, and agricultural lime, and also paddy straw. All these raw materials like jungle soil, farmyard manure, sand, everything should be properly dried before using. So we can overcome the most of the problems like so many pests, nematodes, soil-borne diseases, etc. Then, okay, now our raw materials are ready. Let us go for preparation of primary bed. How to prepare primary bed? Primary bed always that the length that is our convenient. We can make at any length of the primary beds, and the height should be 20 centimeter. 50 to 20 centimeter is enough, and that width should be 1 meter. We can prepare. First, we can make a bed in this measurement, and we can on that we can mix some 1.5 to 2 kilogram of well-sieved agricultural lime. So we can by using agricultural lime we can avoid most of the pH also we can be adjusted, and also most of the insects, especially algal growth, all the such things will be sold. Then another one is lime, rock phosphate, that is 400 to 500 gram of rock phosphate. And all these things are once we incorporate, then we can mix our soil mixture. That is, should be in 6:2:1 proportion. Jungle soil, then farmyard manure, then sand. In this proportion, we can mix and we can spread it over the bed. So, like we have to keep into a 20 centimeter height bed. Now, bed is ready. Then another bed we can make in 1 to 1.5 feet apart. So, our germination primary bed is ready. Next is seed soil. So anyway, I have told already, we have to buy from the coffee board research department. We should know what is the planting material and all, the generation, everything. So we can go for sowing. For seed sowing, our bed is ready, that we can irrigate the bed. The previous day, if we are going to take up the sowing today, we can, the previous evening, if we irrigate the bed, that is good. So we made our bed is ready. We can make a small furrows. The small furrows, it is not big thing. It is we can make by using small sticks or wooden plank. We can make small lines like this, small lines. So on the in that lines we can plant the seeds 1 inch apart each furrow. And also while sowing, one thing we have to take care. We have to place the concave side towards the downside and convex side back. So see, this is the concave side. So we can keep like that, 1 by 1. so many seeds will be. I think 49 to 50 seeds will accommodate in the one row. That depends on the size of the seed. Then, and also just avoid deep sowing. If we do go for deep sowing, we won't get the germination, proper germination. So many times, we used to get some other labors for that seed sowing. So we can make out at the time of germination, we can see there is a small patch. We won't get germination. So that's they are not much used with that work. So it always just plant it, just sow it and spread a thin layer of topsoil. And afterwards, we can cover or mulch the bed with paddy straw. Paddy straw also we kept ready already. So that is also should not be too much thick. It should also and also while mulching with paddy straw, we can conserve the moisture and also the temperature out, and also that will be suitable for the germination. Then water the beds in morning and evening hours if it is summer season. Then a coffee seed germinate within 45 days. As we all know, once we sown, it will, we can write down the date. Within 5th day, you can see, just check within 42 or 43 days, just go and open and see whether it is, as you can see, small sprouts. Then 45th day, you can see the topies. But if that is 45 days, quite big. If we really received it, the viability of received the seed bit late, what will happen? We can hasten the germination by removing the parchment skin. If we remove the parchment skin and sow the seeds, we get germination within 30 days or below, 25 to 30 days. Then viability of the seed is, let us see, the viability of seed always 95%. If we sow the seeds up to within the 3 months, we'll get 95% of viability or germination. But if we keep that seeds for so many months, like if it is in above 3 months, the viability will reduce to 75%. And again, if we keep for 9 months, again it will be reduced to 20 to 25%. Then afterwards, no germination. So should not store the seeds once we receive. Sow immediately after receipt. Then how this poor germination happens means, I have already mentioned. One is deep sowing, then excess watering. Excess watering always invites the problems for the growth of the fungus. And sometimes that seed will be damaged by either decayed or by fungus. And long storage, one reason. And ants and termite attack. Once ants and termite attack happens, that embryo will be damaged and then poor germination happens. So now our plants, we have toppy seedlings. Next is secondary nursery bud. So we will get anyway by 45 days within once we have sown. Between that days we can use for preparation of secondary nursery bed. For secondary nursery bed also the same raw materials are same. Jungle soil, sand and farmyard manure should be ready. The same way it should be properly solarized and dried, sieved. And also we can use that 5x8 size of the polythene bag because coffee and also it should have a little bigger root system. Sometimes we may keep the same plants to next year. So we always always recommend 5x8 size of the poly bag. One thing. The another thing, it should be properly punched poly bag. And the next step is filling the materials. Once we can mix this farmyard manure, sand, soil, sand and farmyard manure in 6:2:2 proportion. we can fill such bags without tightly, without forming any pockets or wrinkles. If we see this bag, it's properly filled. If we keep this type of, loose filling lead to decay of the taproot system and due to waterlogging. Sometimes we have experienced when we are pulling the plants for planting to the field, at that time, the plant will come in our hand because this root system will be very shallow. The bag, when we examine such bags, the half of the bag is properly filled, the other half is not filled. So what happens means that root system won't go beyond that. The first half itself, it will grow in that, and also that taproot must be damaged. So the plant will be survived because we are feeding and we are watering by using this lateral root system. But such plants we can't take to field. So always keep the bag uniformly filled. So let us see next. So our bags are ready. Next is transplanting. So while transplanting, the seedlings we can transplant in topi stage. This is the topi stage, or soldier stage. So in this stage, we can transplant, and otherwise we can butterfly stage. This is the butterfly stage, or early butterfly stage also, early, just before getting the new flashes. Early butterfly stages also we can advise. It is also advisable to transplant in that stage. We won't get much problem. While transplanting also, always into primary beds, we can, what is the advantages of primary bed and secondary bed? We can make one selection in primary bed itself. If we sow the seeds, 1 kg of Arabica seeds, we will get 2,000 to 2,200 of good seedlings. If it is Robusta, we'll get 2,400 to 2,700 good seedlings. So that selection, how we can say good seedlings, while seeing the topi, that visual selection, topi itself, we can see the earlier ones will be will be the better ones, the earlier germinated ones, and also showing good vigor, and also always it is showing good vigor and good health, that type of seedlings. And sometimes some decayed or diseased seedlings are there, that can be discarded there itself. We can select the good ones. Then while transplanting, we should nip the taproot at the tip of the taproot, and we can dip into the this cow dung slurry or Bavastin, little Bavastin, and we can transplant into the nursery bag. While transplanting, we can make 1 10 centimeter in middle, center, at the center of the poly bag, we can make one small hole by using any dibble or some wooden peg. Then that should be, the depth should be that 10 centimeter, and the width, the diameter should be 5 centimeter. Then we can transplant, and also we should not transplant deep. We should keep the soil to that collar region, up to this collar region. It should not go beyond that also. So the properly transplant, and also provide overhead bundle and irrigate daily. That is about transplanting. Transplant the seedlings upright in polyhouse. And so if you transplant, while there is another practice. They will transplant, and they will try to just pull it little upwards. So that the downward, that roots, that will come, that will go back downside, and the plants will be upright. That also will, otherwise also no issues, because anyway that root always positively geotrophic. So it will go downwards only. Then maintenance of seedling nursery. So our transplanting is over. Next is maintenance. So how to maintenance means we can While after transplantation, we don't want to give anything because we have made that jungle soil is also rich, rich with all the nutrients, and also we are adding farmyard manure. Then that root also should be properly developed to get the nutrients from the soil. So after 20 days, we can start giving a thin slurry of a cow dung, thin slurry. So, that should be very thin. Yeah, okay. Some 5 to 6 times diluted. Then next is apply amorphous, diammonium phosphate, any of the fertilizers after striking off the first pair of leaves. That should be some 2 to 3 granules. That is enough. Because initially we don't know the root system, whether it is properly developed. First try with some 2 to 3 granules. After the next month, we can increase 1 or 2 granules. Like then anyway, we always go for this transplantation and all during the summer season. Then at the time of monsoon, then afterwards the June comes, June, July. At that time, once the monsoon is set, we can remove the shade. Next, so monsoon has come. Next, we have to shelter. We have to protect our beds from the direct splash of the rainwater by covering with polythene cover. This is polythene sheet that is available. It is like a polythene tube. It is available in 150 or 200 gauge size. That is enough for this purpose. And that we can use by making small tunnels like that we can bend that bamboos or areca strips and we can spread it over. So there are so much good. What is the advantage of that is that we can avoid the direct splash of rainwater. So in that case itself, we can avoid so many diseases. Nursery diseases can be avoided. So during that heavy rainfall time, this is the best time we are using this one. Afterwards we are getting very less disease in nursery. So please practice this also. Avoid if it is nursery also, avoid excess watering. So maintenance of seedling nursery. Next step is, you know, once we have planted, we will get so many diseases. So one of the diseases is fungal diseases, that is collar rot. So affected seedlings gradually starts wilting. Then one fine day we can see few of the in small patches we can see few of our seedlings are gradually start wilting and then die. And if we observe closely those seedlings, we can see this type of rings, rotten collar regions. Thus, that is collar rot. If we see such things, just to remove that all the affected nursery seedlings and apply carbendazim or bavastin for collar rot. Then another practice we can go is, we can avoid this nursery diseases, especially in the primary. This collar rot is seen in most of the primary buds, not in the secondary nursery. Why? Because the primary buds or most of the seedlings will be in overcrowded condition. And also the seed also, if not properly solarized, and also if the other conditions are congenial for the growth and development of the pathogen, so disease happens. So better you can apply we can make one spread schedule of 15 to 20 days. We can we alternate 15 days. We can make one bavastin application, 1 gram per liter. Then after next 15, alternate another 15 days. Afterwards, we can make another with the Indofil, some systematic, that is bavastin, and Indofil is a contact fungicide that is also 3 gram per liter that we can be used. So like if we go in 20 days gap or 15 days gap, we can avoid most of the fungal diseases. We won't get any diseases. Next is leaf spot and stem necrosis. Another disease is very common nowadays. This is always usually happens during the rainy seasons. Even it is happening in, it is not much in primary nursery. This is can be seen in secondary nursery once the leaves, everything has formed. This is also happens once self-shading is one reason. If the plant, the leaves, if we touch with each other, and also in actually in our, if we go for in other foreign countries and all, we can see that how the nursery is arranged. They will keep only two bags, then in a line. So then they will make another bed and will keep other two bags. So that shading, self-shading, and also the other shading and other touching of the other plant leaves with each other, that can be avoided. So if that is the one thing that we can be done. Otherwise, if you buy plastic bag covering, I told now already, that also we can avoid the direct splash of rain. Everything happens once this enough moisture is there. So if we avoid the excess watering or a direct splash of rain, we can avoid this disease also. One thing. Another thing, changing the nursery site using site. I have told for this, especially this disease and the damping of disease, changing nursery site is very important. I have told already in earlier, we have to change every third year the site, if it is possible. Otherwise, also it is one thing is that we can, once our nursery work is over, once all the plants gone to field, we can remove all the shade net and we can expose that our land and we can just scuffle it and can spread the agricultural lime and keep for next nursery season. So that also we can avoid. If the people not have the another space for the nursery, this also can be done. If the people have that space also, this practice is good for good nursery. Then if this is the leaf spot and stem necrosis caused by Myxothecium floridum, this is always we can see that concentric rings. Once that ring forms and it becomes patches and finally the entire plant will be died. So this can be avoided by using tilt. I have told one spray schedule. We can go either carbendazim for 20 days, then next 21 days onwards, we can go for tilt. That is 1 ml per liter. 0.8 ml is also, but for this is 0.8 ml is the exact concentration. Otherwise, practically we can go for 1 ml per ml. Next, this is a brown eye spot. This is also very common in nursery. This is especially when if we expose the nursery to after happens always after the big monsoon season, and also we will have some plants after the monsoon. We'll keep in nursery and our nursery is open. I already told once the monsoon season is set, we have to remove the shade net. So if we remove the shade net, but then one fine day we got that good sunshine. So the next day again we got a good rain. If we get that intermittent rainfall, sunlight, then that time this disease can be seen in nursery. So so this is better. We have to provide good shade. That is the first thing. And then chemical we can use carbendazim. Otherwise we can get some other commercial formulation. Folicure, that is also very good for this disease. That is also 1 ml per liter. If it is a carbendazim, 1 gram per liter. We have discussed many things about the disease. Next is this is prevention of nursery pesticide. I'm not mentioning any. I'm not going for any control measures for this one. But we don't want any pests in our nursery. So what we have to do, we have the main pests will be parasitic nematodes, then cockchaffers and earthworms, and cutworms and grasshoppers. So parasitic nematodes, this practice we should do before the collection of jungle soil itself. What we have done is we will take the soil samples where we are going to collect the soil for this particular year. Before that itself, we will collect the soil sample and we will give to entomology division. So they will check for the nematode. If nematode is positive, we will avoid that patch. We won't take that patch. We won't take that, we won't collect the soil from that. If you don't have any other option, you do one thing, you just collect the soil from the same place and properly spread it and dry it, solarize the soil. So we can avoid. Then another one is cockchaffers and earthworms. This sieving and drying of the soil, we can avoid this cockchaffers and earthworms. And also earthworms sometimes more than sometimes it's dig the soil and it will keep. So it is better to avoid this earthworms and also cockchaffers. That will also make so many root problems that will affect the root system. Then cutworms and grasshoppers. Cutworms and grasshoppers are seen in especially in weeds. First it will have this worms will have a harbor on the weeds, and then which feed on the young seedlings. Hence, our nursery should be always clean, without any weeds. So that's all about our nursery and maintenance. Next is nursery grafting. So especially in the upper Giris areas and all, they are very, the problem is the nematode infected area. So it's some estates are known for nematodes. So in that area, if we want to plant the Arabica, because that area is full of Arabica plantation only. So if we want to plant that area, particular area, especially particular nematode patch, we can go for nursery grafting. How we can go means we can use the Arabica. We know Arabica is susceptible to nematode and Robusta is resistant. So we can use Robusta rootstock on Arabica cyan. So we can use our Robusta rootstock and Arabica. So what we have to do, we have to sow both Arabica and Robusta together in the sense in separate buds, that the same time. So if Robusta we can, because that is using for as rootstock, we can sow in 1 week before also, it's well and good. Otherwise, the same day also it's okay. Then we have to go for this wedge and cleft grafting. This is the way we should cut. We have to make a cross cut on that rootstock or Robusta, and we can split open by longitudinal section, and then we have to take the Arabica cyan, remove that root system, and take that Arabica, the top portion, and then we can make a small wedge, and we can insert into this this wedge and cleft method, and we have to tie it properly by using polythene cover. In the sense, polythene tape will get. Either parafilm tape is okay, or we can make our own polythene tape by using that items we are getting from that provisions. No, that plastic is also can be used, and you can make it as a tape and have to tie it properly, and we have to keep. The one thing is that like this, make an insertion like this, have to sharp this both areas, have to fix it, then tie with this polythene tape like this. So one thing is, then afterwards we can transplant to poly bag. This poly bag also we can keep either in polytunnel. I have mentioned already the plastic cover that tunnel, or we can keep with individual plastic. One individual plastic cover can be covered with this poly bag. So it will get good humidity and all, and also it will be protected, and it will be ready by after 15 days. We can remove this plastic cover. Then after 30 days, we can remove this plastic strip. We should remove the plastic strip. If we left it there, what happens means construction will be formed in that grafted union, and also that will be chances of breaking the area, that region. So better after 30 days, we have to remove that polythene tape. That's all about nursery grafting. So let us discuss, let us recollect the points, whatever things I told. One important thing is always collect the seeds from authorized source, that is research department of Coffee Board. Then the source, once we got the seed, the next step is sow the seeds immediately after receipt. So we'll get a very good germination. And also we have to provide the shade properly, then avoid deep sowing, and also excess water should be avoided. And also use thoroughly dried and sieved jungle soil to prevent nematodes and cockchaffers. Then transplant seedlings, button stage itself, or if not, otherwise we can transplant into transplant in this butterfly stage also. One thing I forgot to tell about, while getting seed, if at the time of sowing, we will get some more pea berries, the berries which is in pea-shaped berries. That also that we not to throw. That also can be used for our sowing purpose, because that the pea berry also say that it's genetically everything is similar like other normal plant. And also once it is planted, it will be act as a normal plant only. And also there is no pea berry from that plant. Because of some other reasons, or at the time of fertilization, it happened to become a pea berry. Otherwise, it is genetically, it is a normal plant. It is a normal seed. Thank you for your kind attention. If any doubt is, please feel free to ask.